All right, and we are live. I'm so excited to be here today. I'm Nichol, for those of you who don't know, with DNP Publishing. We are so excited today. We are doing a book launch. Here is this beautiful book. I am so excited. You guys got to get this book. Go out and grab your copy. I don't want to give anything away about the book because we're going to talk about it right now. So it has been my pleasure to work with this author, get to know him. Thank you, Mr. Andre Notice, for sending him my way. I appreciate you. I appreciate you sending him my way and trusting me with your friend. So it has been my honor and to put this together. There's so much in this book that it's just so well written. It's an awesome story of a father-son story. The fact that we're launching it was really important for Germany to launch it this weekend, being Father's Day weekend. So I am so excited for y'all to get to know him. And so in order to do that, I asked him to bring somebody along to introduce him that knows him a lot better than I do because we've only been speaking for a few months. So I am going to bring up Dr. Tanisha, who is also his cousin, but she is going to do a proper introduction of Germany, and then we'll bring Germany up and let him talk about this book. Okay. All right, Tanisha.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Excuse me. Thank you, Nichol. Good morning, everyone. I am super excited to be here as we prepare to hear from our new up-and-coming best-selling author, right? Because we're all going to go rush to the link and get the Kindle for this beautiful book, much-needed book. Germany is my cousin. His grandfather and my late grandmother are siblings. So I've known Germany really all of his life. I remember going to visit Germany when his mom first brought him home from the hospital. It was at my great uncle's home, and I tell you, he must have already known. My Uncle Jimmy must have already known that there was treasure in this vessel because my uncle would not let anybody even enter the room without a scrub down. Germany, you probably heard this story because you know your grandfather and my Uncle Jimmy, and he was so protective of his newborn grandson. And like I said, I realize now why Germany is truly a jewel. It's a blessing. Like I said, to be here to introduce him today because I know who he is through his family, through his roots. I know the values that he has and that he shares, and to see him bring something to life like this in this story, in this book, to be able to bless so many people, it's just such a much needed story. And so I'm so proud of him, Jeremy. I think I've said it, but I'm gonna say it again. I'm so proud of you. As a young man, and the model, the father that you're setting, you are for your children, and the love that you have for your family. And I just want to continue to encourage you. I know this is just the first of many books to come out. I'm super excited to share this with my children and my friends. But my job again today here is to introduce Germany Mayfield to all of you. He is the new up-and-coming best-selling author. You have the pleasure of being able to hear him interviewed today by Dr. Pamela. And so please listen in, and I'm sure you are going to be ready for a treat.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's so fun. I love hearing the little story about when he was little. Everybody has that one person in your family that sees what's actually in you. And to me, it seems like Germany listened. And that's the key. Pamela, I know I had you get the book and peruse it. I just wanted to know if there was anything you wanted to say before we give Germany the floor.
Well, I would like to say this. I hadn't met you, obviously, face to face like this. And I'm so excited to be able to see your face, not just a picture, the man behind the creation. I read your book to my son, who sat still for the whole thing. He's 13, and he was so engrossed in wanted read more. Loved it. And so I'm excited to, after reading it, which y'all, if you haven't, I'm just putting that first plug out right now, like major plug. Click the link now. Get the book now. This is a book that will change the lives of children. This is a book that will change families. This is an incredible book, and it is done so professionally. The illustrations, everything. It is a phenomenal book. So let's do what needs to be done. The bonus is Germany's going to be an international best-selling author at the end, but that is amazing. But it's going to be so much more than that, because you're going to help people all over the world with this book and his story. So I am excited to just have you kind of peel back the layers a little bit this morning on the creation and how how did it even come into being a thing? Like what caused you to birth this in? Because it is so powerful. And I could tell just by the way my kiddo responded to it, like this is going to be life-changing for youth as well as children all over the world. So my question so far is, peel back some layers for us. Take us on the journey. I feel like Alice in Wonderland. Like let's go down that, let's go down the rabbit hole and follow you.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I want to thank all of you all for being here and sort of hosting me here and celebrating this momentous occasion. All of these drop the mic introductions were amazing, and it's a good feeling to know that the energy I put out resonated in such a positive manner, and to hear back from you all that the life you're living, the examples that you're setting, the time I took. I'll say it took me 38 years to write this book. It's meaningful and it's impactful to obviously Dr. Pam, your son, and Tanisha to have that energy going all the way back to say that that was in you from the very beginning. So that's amazing. So thank you for that for sure. Um, Another thing I always say is that this book was I felt like I had to write it. Like it's been sitting in me for quite some time, and I didn't start it, and I still don't think of it as I didn't start it as a money making proposition or I want to be an author. It's just something that I had to get out that I felt like could help people, and it was a very therapeutic experience for me along the journey. As well as, I had moments where I take a pause on it for 2 or 3 months and then I come back to it when I really felt inspired and I write, a couple hundred or 1,000 words, if you will. And it took me longer than I had hoped, but I feel like it was the appropriate amount of time because I still needed to have experiences throughout my life, throughout my journey, in order to properly encapsulate it in a book. Like still had to go through things, right, in order to get it jotted down on paper. So that's kind of how I came to it. A little bit of background about myself and why I feel like this story resonates with so many people is that um, growing up, I didn't live with my dad. It was pretty much just me and my mom coming up, or me and my grandparents and so forth, and friends and cousins and whatnot. So that was my experience. So this story is sort of loosely related to my real life, with a couple of characters changed around, names and so forth. So again, it was just something that I had to say, I had to get out, and yeah.
I find it fascinating that you took such depth of time to unfold all of this, because not everybody takes the time. And you mentioned therapeutic.
Yeah.
And I was like, yep, absolutely. I can see how it would be therapeutic for you, because writing can be such therapy and can just release a lot of things, but also for the reader, like somebody else is identifying with me, somebody else is getting me. how would you explain the therapeutic part? Could you take us a little bit further on that?
For sure. So I have two daughters, Bella and Zoe, and they were a huge inspiration for this book. And I can be a very analytical person, and I prefer to read things to figure out why I'm having an experience or how can I best solve or resolve anything that's going on inside of me, or how can I help somebody else, right? So when I was about to have my oldest daughter, approximately 14 years ago, I sort of went on this journey. I grew my hair out. I decided I'm not cutting my hair anymore. It's sort of a rite of passage. And I grew my hair um, for like 7 years. I had really long locks, and I took it on as like a sign of suffrage, right? Because and not suffer like, oh, this is going to be painstakingly hard, but I wanted to tie sort of being patient and being committed to something to my hair. So my head, I'm watching it grow. I'm going through these experiences as she grows as well. So that was something that I wanted to do, and that was really important to me. So I don't know. I'm just a deep thinker in that way, and just taking the time to kind of I don't know, just take my time with the thing and commit to it. That was really important to me. So
And so when you stepped into writing, just
mm,
like growing out your hair, right? Which I love that. I love what you just said. You said that you wanted to remember and you wanted to go through it. You wanted to grow through it while she's growing through it. And you wanted like to remember
right,
for, like forever. And what a beautiful way to like put that stamp of memory on it, because your hair no longer is that length. So you came to a place where you changed directions again and said, okay, I've completed that.
yes.
Is that what happened? I know we're not here talking
Yeah,
about your hair, but this is
so
important. It's part
it
of
is
you.
important. It is important that I bring that up because, and I don't want to give away. There's a sort of a surprise, if you will, in this as a reasoning as to why I cut my hair. Um, and it was meaningful to do that. And but again, I don't want to give away that surprise. But I decided I didn't need to suffer in that way anymore, and I turned the chapter, and some things just really came up for me, and I just decided like I want to tell my story because I feel like I've had a pretty unique life. I've lived in Philly, I've lived in New York, obviously I've lived in Houston, which is where I'm born and raised. Um, but I've had some really cool experiences, traveled around the world, met some really interesting and cool people. So I was gonna write an autobiography, um, but I hadn't decided that I felt like I hadn't done enough for people to read about the adult version of me. So I was like, let me repurpose it and repackage it and sort of attend to and address um, the childhood version of me. I think that I think we all have sort of the inner childhood that some issues haven't yet been addressed that we need to attend to, and we can all do them. It expresses itself in various ways. Some of them are negative, some of them are positive, and in fact, I think that it's necessary to keep some of our childhood mindsets and behaviors in a way because I think children they don't have a sense of they haven't yet been hurt enough or been through enough pain or challenges, so they feel inspired to continuously try and put one foot in front of the other with a childlike mind and imagination to dream big. And that's why adults, they start businesses because they're dreamers. They want to try. They haven't experienced enough failure and hurt and no's in their life. So those things of our childhood, I think it's important to keep. But if there are things that you experience in your childhood that don't allow you to have meaningful and lasting relationships with people, um, and just to be able to get through things and understand that there's a season for a thing, and now we need to shed and move on from this. and to another thing, and acceptance and so on and so forth. And I just hope that this book does that for a child, whether even if it's a child that isn't going through this, right? There could be a child that is experiencing life through a two-parent household and everything is amazing and great, and they may have a friend or a classmate who they wonder why does you know Steven, or why does Tanya, why does she behave that way? Why is she, some days she's cool, or some days he's cool, and other days he's not? What's his potential experience? And I think the book will help to challenge kids and adults to just think a bit deeper about their experience.
I love that. I love that. I want to ask you, as you are going through this creative process of this book, and now here we are at the launch, what was your intention when you began to create it? And what is that intention that you've set now? I mean, what are you dreaming that this book is going to do for the world, for the children that are reading it? Like, my heart is just beating for this to happen. I want the people viewing, listening, I want them to hear your heart on this, because the heart connects to the pages, and that heart connecting to the pages produces the outcome. So can you share that a little bit more with us?
So certainly the title of the book, I think it's powerful, and the word grateful, right, in gratitude. I'm hoping people can gain a sense of gratitude this summer, because here we are right now, and that's what it's about, like taking what you have and appreciating it and making the best of it, right? Not spending too much time looking on the other side of the fence, or looking at what other people have going on in their lives and hoping and desiring, overly desiring it for your own, and just kind of taking the pieces, whether big or small, good or bad, and making the best of it, and finding silver linings in every situation that you may find yourself in, and realizing that there's a teaching moment, there's a teachable moment, there are lessons in every experience in life, and that's what Marquise goes through in this book, and no, he's not having the relationship with his father that he was hoping for, but he's learning lessons along the way to appreciate the experiences, and he's looking around like, wow, like despite not having an experience that my best friend is having, I do have some sort of connection to really cool experiences, and maybe a little bit of what she has is visited upon me. And I just hope that the kids are challenged to not be so, look at things so surface level, right? And maybe even improve their relationship with their parent or parents, right? To say, like, because kids it can never be enough. You're only as good as your last act, and sometimes they don't they quickly forget that. So, and I'm hoping that folks will sit down and turn the pages and take a pause along the way and consider that. And the back and forth that Nichol mentioned that goes on in the book, you have to kind of pay attention to where you are, because being present is super important. So you have to be aware, like, okay, what time frame is he talking about now? Okay, we're in a different time frame, so you really need to be present to read and interpret and understand what's going on. And I really hope that folks can just pick up, this really was a labor of love for me, and I just feel like it's a lot of folks that look like me, uh, that go through an experience like mine. Um, and I honestly, I don't know many books that have been written about, not kids books that touch on topics like this serious, but yet it's a serious thing that goes on, certainly in America, and you know, if not in the world, but certainly here in America. Uh,
Yeah.
so
Oh, that's so powerful. And my takeaways from what you just said, two real strong ones, and that is that this book goes deep. And you wouldn't necessarily expect it when you're looking at it being a book directed to children, but and the cover, but what I'm hearing is the necessity, and I so agree, that we just don't pass over topics and not address them. Like, we need to go deep, and that kids are able to. It just has to be presented in a way that they can grasp. And that the other part that you said that I feel is so important to highlight is that being present. Children and all people, but kids are like, hey, summer, right? Go, go, go. And finding that way, teaching them how to be mindful and present and grateful in a situation will help them. It's like critical thinking, right? It's going to help them navigate through life so they're not just jumping to the next thing all the time or hiding their feelings, but actually being in it and being present in the moment. What in a technical age, here we are doing a book launch like this, right? In this techno age where everybody's on their phones and, you know, sitting around the table using their thumbs, texting away, and all of this kind of stuff is happening and removing so much of that being present from our lives. You're bringing forth a book with an incredible message that is teaching children how to be present and how important that is for their lives. So I just applaud you for that. I'm so grateful that you did this, and I love the book. I'm holding my phone up because I ordered it on my phone, okay? So that's how easy it is. Go get your copy right now. The links are available in the description. So please buy this book and support this incredible vision. Thank you so much, Jeremy. Thank you, Nichol. I'm here if you need me for anything else.
Yeah, and you know, I love that Dr. Pamela read it with her son.
yeah,
You know, because you're talking about how it's good for kids to read, and I would say preteens, teens. I would say adults are gonna like this book just as much because it gives you, especially those that are split families, because it gives those parents a little bit of a perspective of what their kiddo might be going through. I love that aspect of it. And y'all, it is such an easy read. It is, I mean, it's not, there's a lot in it, yes. There's so much in the book. There's a lot of story to it. Jeremy does such a great job of telling the story of Marcus. It is Marcus. Yeah.
Marquise.
Let me say it the right way. Sorry. Or Mark.
Or
I'll say,
Mark.
or Marky Mark, which he doesn't like. Um,
Right.
but you do such a good job of telling his story, and the boy has an imagination like none other, and to a fault, of course. But it gets him in trouble, which is, you know, what kid doesn't sit and daydream and their parents are like, hey, hello, pay attention. You know, especially nowadays with the distractions that kids have on technology and everything else. And it's like, hello, your mother is talking to you.
Right.
So I think, like I said, I'm excited to sit down and really digest the book because the storyline is so good. And I love how it speaks to today's culture. I mean, I know this very much speaks to a lot of how you grew up with a single mom and all of that, and your grandparents, and but that is such a norm nowadays.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know, I can say too. I'm sorry, but I wanted
No.
to say about. So you touched on Dr. Pam reading it with her son. That's really important to me to get that and hear that feedback because I do want to know what kids are thinking and saying and sharing and how they're feeling and experiencing themselves. I was speaking with well, I saw obviously Bill was able to get it and he tagged me in opening it and for his daughter, and I'm definitely excited to hear what she has to say about it. Both of them actually, if you've had that experience. So that would be amazing, Sam, too. So
Yeah, I mean, once you get the book and you read it, and whether it's with your kiddo or if just your kiddo reads it, send Germany a message. You message them on Facebook, on Instagram, wherever you can get in touch with him. Let him know what it said to you, what you got out of it, because that means a lot to a writer, especially somebody that has taken the time to put a passion down, especially a story that's so close to how he grew up, and something that's that personal. It means a whole lot.
yes,
And
yes,
we were talking about your cover, your artwork, and you have a lot of illustration throughout. And you wanted to mention how you got in touch with Matthew.
yeah. So I was inspired by a female author by the name of Nick Stone to. It's funny. So this is my first book. I had never written the book. I had never endeavored to uh, have an undertaking so large as this. It was really a deep, uh, deep experience, right? It's a lot. It's a lot. I mean, we're talking. I think I have what 21,000 words. I mean, so it's a lot of time put into this. But you know, I've I've sort of always prided myself in being able to write well, and like being analytical in the way that I am. I wanted to like do it right. I was like looking at YouTube videos and like searching stuff. How should I say this? And I really landed on a Nick Stone book. For some reason, the name of the title, she has many titles, but for some reason, the name of the title slipped my mind now. Oh, Clean Getaway by Nick Stone was what inspired me. But the way that the cadence of it, the way the images were drawn by the illustrator, really spoke and resonated with me. So I was like, I want to find somebody that's sort of somehow connected and tied to her illustrator. um, I was having trouble doing that, but I think I have like maybe 3 or 4 degrees of separation between her illustrator, which I can't think of his name. She's worked with a couple, but just getting on social, on Instagram, and finding somebody, and I landed on one gentleman. Again, his name slips my mind, who connected me with ultimately with Matt Stovall, and he did an amazing job. He worked with me from, I think at the time he was in was he in Costa Rica, I think, and we were corresponding through WhatsApp. I gave him my vision, and it was just so seamless. His ability to capture exactly what I was looking for, and I even surprised myself in being able to have the imagination and being able to clearly articulate exactly what I was looking for. And what's funny about it is some of the artwork inspired me to think of more words, different way of phrasing things, and just to continue to write and piggybacking off of this, that, and the third thing. And he was just so communicative with me, even outside of the country, and getting back to me and turning things around really quickly. And it was like, you mean like this? And it was just popping up, and it's like, wow, like, yeah, let's keep going. And and I knew exactly where I wanted to place these things and align them, and what message I hope to get across from some of the imagery. Um, yeah, he did an amazing job. Seriously.
Yeah, he really captured where you placed them in the book.
Mhm.
He captured exactly what was going on. I love that you have little quotes that you've thrown in there from yourself, some of your family.
So
Um,
so those quotes are from my kids, both
I
sets
love it.
of stories. Yeah. And I just kind of like I was really tapping in with them quite a bit because I, I wanted to. So in this, tomorrow's Father's Day, like fatherhood is like truly important to me. Being a dad and sort of some of the things that I did not experience as a kid, I didn't realize until later that like I needed those things. And so I try to be as present as I can with my kids and um, be a role model. And I mean, I don't have all the answers. I mean, we rarely ever do. Um, I don't know. I just wanted to create something that they'd be proud of, and that would. I'm kind of choking up a little bit,
It's okay.
but I just wanted to create something that would like live beyond me, and just something that they'd be proud of, and that they'd be able to hold up and say, you know, my dad made this, right? And you know, long after I'm gone, that they reap the benefits of it. And I think that's important when we talk about legacy and you know, truly being there for your kids and sort of the danger of not being available to them and listening to them. And I just really believe that God placed that in me, this analytical mind and just willingness to understand, talk, and try to be patient and hear them out because I wanted somebody to take that time with me and listen to me and you know tap in with me and so um, having them be a part of like you know the book, not only like hey does this sound right or would you read this, you know, sort of sitting them down, read this chapter, you know, give me this quote, you know what I mean, like, and a lot of that stuff they came up with on their own. Like I may have like um, you know, realign it if I can find something here because there were a couple of chapters where I closed out with them or leading into the next chapter,
Right.
you know. For example, Zoe writes, just because part of your family is missing, it doesn't mean that a part of you is missing. Um, you know, that was her thing. Like I challenged her to think deeply. Um, and Bella writes, your questions may not always be answered, but there may be something within the answer given that's worth considering. So again, it's just another silver lining, taking a pause and like, you know, not jumping to conclusions that it's all bad. But
Yeah.
no, it's all a lesson, and you know, it's not about what happens to you.
Mm-hmm.
It's about how you respond to what happens to you. It's not about what's going on with you. It's about how it resonates with you and
Yes.
flip it on its head, turn it this way or that, and you know, determine how to the best go forward.
Yeah, no, I absolutely love that. You know, I knew the last names were the same. I did not know they were your kiddos.
Yeah,
I love that you made them part of the book. I mean, what a great, I mean, they get to take that book to school and say, hey, yo, I'm
yeah,
in this book.
yeah.
I wrote in this book. You know, how fun is that? How old are they?
Soon to be 14 and 11.
Oh, wow. I
Mhm.
mean, how fun for them and for this to be your first project. And we've got a comment there from Andrew. I'm very proud of my cousin, Germany. Congratulations on getting your book published.
Thank you,
After all the work you put into this book, it looks like you'd finally be recognized. Your cousin, Andrea Mayfield. How
thank you,
sweet. That is
thank you,
awesome.
Andrea. I appreciate it. Seriously.
That is so awesome. But no, I love that you shared this platform with your kids. And that shows your heart, which is awesome.
Mhm.
Before we get to our special guest, I want to ask Bill or Sam if they want to add anything. If so, unmute yourself if you can. If you can't, go ahead,
I'm
Bill.
unmuted. I can add something here. I'll try to anyways. Germ and I are both girl dads. I have 3, he has 2. And so I met Germ about, oh geez, 6 years, maybe even more. And something that just kind of struck me about him was just his character and just kind of like, you know, I have a shop and a lot of people come in there. And so I meet a lot of people every day. And so, but Germany really stuck out to me and we've kind of developed our friendship over the years and just kind of watched him evolve in his life. And of course, I we're kind of going through the same thing with kids and whatnot. And this book, it really kind of highlights what I saw in Germany when he first met him, is just his character and what he's about. And, in this world, so many people are about, things and material stuff and all that. And when it comes to character, there's just not as many people that value that. And Germany's one of those. And so this book brings out that character and those positive qualities that I first noticed with him. And I'm impressed with the book. And I think about it, I'm also analytical, and I think about, like, holy cow, this is, the detail that he went into, describing scenes, and I'm like, I don't know how I would do that. He did such a good job. And so it's entertaining. It's a lovely read. So much good takeaways from it. Marquise you just kind of fall in love with the guy. So I highly recommend getting this book if you just want a little peek into Germany, because it really I think this ties to his story. And so you understand him, but you just get so many good things out of it.
Thank you so much, Mel.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Hi, everyone. I'll just chime in a little bit. I am listening to all of these, stories from everyone, and it's just amazing to hear, because I know Germany a lot on the, him as a dad. And I know that his two daughters are just so proud of him. Our youngest two girls are best friends also. So I hear their conversations all the time, and I hear Zoe talking to London about, the book and how exciting it was for them to see, their dad finish this project, and their names are in the book. And she was just so excited to share that with my daughter, London. And it's amazing to be able to hear that. So kudos to you, Germ. We're all very proud of you.
Thank you.
And it's amazing.
That is so sweet. Thank you both. Appreciate it. So, Germany, you have a special guest that is not on screen yet. Tell us a little bit about, you told me it was it was your biggest push as to why you wanted to get this book out.
So growing up, it was quite a bit of just me and my mom and me and my grandparents, right? Or me, my grandparents, my uncle, who sort of shows up. Oh, look at that! Who's that? So my uncle, he shows up in the book. He shows up as a cousin, and the character's name is Cedric. But I didn't get an opportunity to have a relationship with this guy. So this is my biological father, Kenneth Loveland. I'll let him introduce himself. And
hello, Facebook friends. First of all, I want to say, man, I'm so proud of you. I am really, really so proud of you. And contrary to some male belief, I want to say I love you. And I'm so glad that you're able to express yourself this way and impact not just our family, but other families that may have had similar situations, and to show them that regardless of your past, it doesn't dictate how your future can be, because we've had a great time getting to know each other. Yeah. So I'm happy for you. This is as they say, my quiver is full.
So you see where I get it from. It's not, listen, it's nature, not nurture, I'm telling you.
Right?
So yeah, huge inspiration to go ahead and endeavor on this journey. So my father, so throughout the book there are, in a way, there are father figures, and it is funny because that's what my original plan was, to write a book. I was going to entitle it Finding My Four Fathers, right? And it was the father that raised me, Bobby Preston. Marquise Preston is the last name, right? So Bobby Preston. Also, my father figure in that is my grandfather. Father figures in whether it's older guys I met because I love basketball, so older guys I met through basketball. I had an uncle who was very influential in my developing my basketball game, who I knew when I was very young. Um, Friends that my mom may have known, as well as my relationship with God, so my forefathers. But like I said, I decided to sort of, I don't want to say I scrapped it. Maybe that's something that'll come later, right? But I decided to repackage it and write it in this way. Uh, I have I named my home gym where I do a lot of virtual personal training. I called it the Cave too, because my dad, Bobby Preston, who raised me, his garage was the cave, his man cave. So that inspired me. He passed away, unfortunately, a number of years ago. But I had started making my gym, and I didn't. I hadn't. I don't know. I just wasn't completing it. And when he passed away, it inspired me to complete it. And then developing a relationship with this gentleman inspired me to just keep going and chip away at it and get it done. So I touched on earlier cutting my hair. Um, I had long locks, 6 years, 10 months. I grew my hair out. And when I started to develop a relationship and I met and developed a relationship with him, I decided to cut it as a rite of passage. I cut my hair off and I said, I don't need to suffer in that way anymore. Regardless of how things turn out after that phone call, I sort of, that thing was like a full circle. And it's funny, I have one grateful summer here. The circle isn't quite complete, but like the completion of this project is like, the completion of this project and meeting him is like, it's come full circle, it's complete. And I'm thankful, I'm grateful to now like literally be sitting in my dad's house doing this launch, this book launch. And it's just so much energy and like it's a lot. That's why I say it's a labor of love. It's really a lot of me in here. It's him. It's the my dad who raised me, Bobby Preston. I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for all these handoffs that I've experienced. I'm grateful for Cedric. I'm grateful for my mom. I'm grateful for my grandparents. I'm grateful for every experience that I have had. I'm grateful for breath in my lungs because I'm grateful for my health. Right, that's something that I in my daily as my career choice, I try to encourage people to be healthy and move. I'm grateful to be able to do that. And there's always like this opportunity to every day go forward and figure out a more positive way to be to exist. So yeah.
I love it. There's another comment from Claudia. Great book for me. I love the comments have been fantastic. I love that you were able to do this at your dad's house.
Mm-hmm.
So your T-shirt, we got to talk about the T-shirt, dude. So we made sure. So can people buy your T-shirts?
So I still sort of in R&D mode right now, but I'm hoping that I can get it like out there and public and for people to buy it. I'll come a little bit closer, but
yeah,
it's summer here.
Great. Yeah.
And then on my back is something you see throughout the book. You see it on the bus.
Yep.
You see it on the bus. You see it on let's see, Marquise's t-shirt. I'll pull that up. But it's the symbol for gratitude.
Nice.
You see it on like his his birthday cake.
Oh
yeah.
Yeah, and I remember seeing it throughout the book. I did not know that's what that stood for. So that's awesome. Yeah. Gratitude has become. It is such a life-changing thing.
Mm-hmm.
If you can have that in your day, oh my goodness, it's a big change. There's another great job, proud of you.
I'm not gonna try that name.
Daenerys, that's my buddy. Daenerys, a childhood friend. I've known him since I was, I don't know, 6 or so, 7 maybe. I would go from my dad's house. I'd run down the street in the mornings, or if I was at staying with my grandmother, I'd go 2 houses over and knock on his door early in the morning so I can kick his behind in some basketball, or you know, we race each other, play football,
Right.
all that kind of stuff. So I was just with him last night, in fact. So
That is awesome. Well, I am so excited for you. I think this book, like Pamela said, this is going to change. It's a book to change people's perspective, a book to change people's lives. I love the perspective shift in the book. That's huge. Yeah, go ahead.
so if you take a look at the cover, right? Marquise, he's sort of like, huh? Like, who are you?
Right.
And right, and throughout the book, you see this figure a couple of different times where it's like you getting a glimpse of the back of his head.
Mm-hmm.
Marquise isn't sure how to feel uh, about this connection to this person. It's more of an energetic connection. It's a feeling. It's not a understanding of I know who that is. I just feel who that is, and it's a stranger, but he feels safe. He doesn't know why. And I felt like I had that sort of with you. Something kept coming back to me. So a little bit more background. So I found out. I wondered. I wasn't sure, but I wondered for as long as I can remember about my relationship with my father who raised me.
Okay.
And then one day I had the audacity to ask him, are you my real dad?
Oh.
And I remember he was getting ready to take me home, and he got in the car. I posed the question to him, and he was just like, "Wait 1 second, I'll be right back." So he gets out of the car, he goes in the house. I guess he gathers himself, and he spoke with his wife, and then he came back to the car, and he shared with me. So here's the story. So along the journey and on the ride home, he's telling me under the circumstances that things kind of happened. He found out himself actually that by the time I was 5, that I wasn't his father, his son. But the cool thing about that, and the respectful thing about that, and the graceful thing about that, I know that you like grace. That's like,
Yeah. Yeah, that's my word.
he chose, and sometimes we're blessed to be dads. You create a child, you should take care of that child, but when you choose to do it, that's like another level of like connection, I think, and taking on that responsibility despite, because at 5, he could have just like, I'm going this way. And he chose me. And so I didn't understand that at the time. I just was hurt and pain, so on and so forth. And then when he passed, like I was inspired to at least start to turn over some rocks, ask some questions.
Yeah.
And what's crazy is that it didn't even, when I really started looking, it didn't take me long to find you, because like there was this picture, I think it was your LinkedIn picture, floating around, and
It looked like you.
it looked like me, but you're like the dark skinned version of me. I had hair, like this dude don't have any hair, so I'm like, oh no. And I just put that picture for a while, and I think I didn't want to accept your last name. There's a lot going on with your last name. I like my last name. But yeah, so I found you, and with the help of a friend of mine who I did a mobile marketing tour with. She's a genealogist.
Yep. Genealogist. Yep.
Genealogist. And she helped me. I contacted somebody from our tree, my brother. His name is Kenneth Lovelady Jr. But I was like, he definitely doesn't look like me.
Yeah.
So it's funny. What I did was I sent him a friend request, and I just stalked him for like 3 months. Like I was following his Facebook page to see if there's any pictures of you that were gonna pop up, and sure enough, they did. And in that moment, I mean, probably within hours, I was just like, I messaged him, and ironically, he was in the gym. He was in the gym when I called him. I called him through Facebook Messenger, and he answered it. And I just dropped the news on him, and he was gracious enough to take the call. And to be honest, I'm sure he was like,
Yeah.
taken aback by it. And,
Right.
and then here we are, had the opportunity to talk. But yeah, what was it, sort of for you? And
Well, I'll say this. It's so ironic that our view right here kind of has me in the shadow, and now I have an opportunity to be up front. So I would encourage, I know you guys have talked a lot about the book and the value that it can add for children, but the same can be said for fathers, for parents to recognize, regardless of the circumstance, you have an opportunity to make an impact. And Jeremy and I have embraced it. I'm not saying that every situation will work out like that, but you'll never know unless you step in and try it. I'm sure there's some apprehension on his part, there's apprehension on my part. This book has allowed me to stitch some gaps together that I had in my mind, and it's been fantastic. And so I would say, don't view the book only as a children's book. It's a family book. It's an opportunity to bridge some gaps that have been created through whatever circumstance, to take advantage of the opportunity, because we are having an absolute great time getting to know each other and really laughing about how much we have in common. Although we met after he was 30 years old, I'm like, wow, mannerisms, unbelievable. Our time in the gym, competing in body, all those things, love for reading, all those things that came about, and we didn't know each other, but boy, we are making the most of it.
Yeah, when I met you, you are a project manager of sorts, right? I was enrolled in a project, like it's crazy. I was enrolled in a project management class at the time. He had competed in bodybuilding. I competed in 2 men's physique competitions. The parallels were just uncanny.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I still got him on the hair.
This is a precursor.
Right. You know what's coming. I think that is awesome. I am an adopted person who has recently started that journey of finding my biological. So I know how daunting that first connection is. And I love that you Facebook stalked him.
3 months.
That's awesome that you had that ability to do that. I did actually I was able to do that with a couple of my siblings that I found. But no, it is, it's a step that you have to step out of your comfort zone to go, hey, by the way,
Yeah.
because you don't know what you're going to get back. That's a huge step. And, but no, I love that, it's all part of your story. And, maybe, that's another book, meeting
100%.
that relationship that you're growing. And, I cannot wait to see what comes out of you next. As far as your books, we're going to set up a few, book signings. I know Germany has on his page, his website link.
Yes.
On his Facebook, that if you want a signed copy of his book, you can get in touch with him. I am so excited for you. Is there anything else you want to say? Is there, why don't you go ahead and tell people how to connect with you? Go ahead and drop your website, whatever that is, and so that people know how to get in touch with you.
So as far as my website, it's a Shopify website. So the easiest way to do it, if you're on Instagram, you can follow my Instagram at Germany Writes, GermanyWrites. That's my author page. If you as a part of my author bio, I'm a fitness trainer. sort of delving through this author journey, if you will. So my fitness Instagram is at GermanyFit, GermanyFit. So you can find me there. On both those pages, I have links to getting your autographed copy, as well as finding me on Amazon. I ask that if you purchase through Amazon, please, 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 please leave a comment.
Yes.
Rate it. Even if you hadn't yet read it, you get it. I'm excited to endeavor, right? Something like that is very helpful and appreciative to me. And in either situation, please, ask your kids how they feel about the book, how they feel about the characters. If nothing else, there's another opportunity for you to connect
Yes.
on something that's a real subject. It's an authentic subject, and it's another way to have a conversation about something outside of social media and schoolwork and
Yes.
So there's that. What I'd like to say too is that it's important that we have these conversations, because believe it or not, kids can be a bit deeper than what we think. You just have to have patience. Sit still. They'll sit still with you, and challenge them to think and to feel
Yes.
and to articulate their feelings. When I was a kid, I didn't really even like reading like that. I think all the way up through high school, I did not like reading. Even the Cliff Notes was too long version. So I'm actually surprised by my willingness to take the time to write out something as long as this. So take that time with your kids, because life is very short. We only get one lap. And another critical thing is that forgiveness is super important. Not only for the other person, but also for you. I think it's probably about half as important. And through my development with this relationship with my dad here, I made up in my mind when I was very young that the first time I met him, I'm gonna give him a knuckle sandwich. It was made up in my mind, but that was anger, that was pain, and it was okay, I think, for me to feel that. But the truth of the matter is that's not all of what I felt. Like, I wanted a relationship. And if I lived in anger or not being willing to forgive, if I lived in that space, then I would never have this relationship. I would never have this connection, and I would not be able to form bonds like that with other people. So forgiveness is important, and so is awareness. That's not to say that you want to be a fool in everything or go into things haphazardly, but you have to be willing to forgive. And if you can forgive others, people will be more than likely willing to forgive you, because it's only a matter of time before you make a mistake. So, protect your relationships, create meaningful ones, and fathers, be there for your kids. Mothers, be there for your kids, and always try to be open to being vulnerable, honest, aware, and communicate. So.
That was so good. So good. And let me say happy Father's Day to both of you this weekend.
Thank you.
What a wonderful way to celebrate with your book. Thank you to all of our guests that joined us on screen. I appreciate y'all, and I know Germany absolutely appreciates you being here as a support, and to your dad as well. Get the book, in case you didn't hear that yet. Get the book. I have mine. It is awesome. I'm so excited. And we will see you again soon. If you are writing a book or need help writing a book, Dr. Pamela and I can help you get that goal completed. Just reach out to us. Germany, it has been an absolute pleasure to get to know you more and to do this book project with you. I know it's going to be a blessed project. Thank you for entrusting your project to me. It has been my honor. So thank you so much, sir. And any last words before we sign off?
Got anything?
He's looking at Dad.
I'm good.
I'm good. All right, y'all. We'll see you next time. Have a blessed day and happy Father's Day to all those out there.
Thank you. See ya.
Thank you so much to Dr. Pamela for sharing her platform with me to celebrate now best-selling author Germany Mayfield.